What's up, guys? It's Levi here. I've always sharpened these by hand. These are for my gray blade that's out there. We'll also take the blades off the Ferris and give it a go. So, this is like a Chinese dupe of the All-American. It was, I believe it was 40 something. I got it on Amazon. Anyways, it works really well with what I got. I just took 2 of the lag bolts. You're supposed to put 4 in here. I just put 2 in there so that way I could take it off of these older sawhorses if I need to use these. I got a super old, I'm gonna set this over here. I have a super old DeWalt angle grinder, and when I was just starting to buy tools, I bought DeWalt tools. Every single one of them failed except for this angle grinder. This angle grinder it's been really good. This is probably 8-10 years old. What I'm saying is I've had this thing for a long time. It doesn't sound great. Flap disc is pretty much wore out. I need to put a new one on it. I'm gonna show you guys how to use this. Like I said, I've always done this by hand, and so a lot of you guys that's been doing it for a while have also probably done it by hand. Now these are relatively new blades, so they're not cooked. They look bent, but that's just the way that the Gravely OEM blades are. They got that kind of swoop to them, and it helps with the high lift portion. So these are relatively new blades. You can actually see, anyone who's familiar with factory blades, you can see the waviness. This one you might be able to see it a little bit better. You can still see the waviness in it, and the big thing that you're looking for is this cutting edge to be flat. You can see the cutting edge is flat on both of them. They're not very sharp. I went ahead and tried it out on one of these blades. I have 3 sets of blades for that Gravely, and I swap them out every so often, and I'll sharpen the other sets, and I can just throw them on real quick. But anyways, this is one of them that I sharpened. Now these had really bad burrs where I've hit sticks or something else. You see, I mean, they sharpened up pretty good. It really does help. You can even see it, the marks, the witness marks on this, you can even see that it's keeping a pretty consistent angle through the whole thing. The biggest thing is just making sure that you're running the full length up and down the entire time. Now it doesn't get down into these swoops as well. That's okay, because that's not where our mowers are cutting. Our mowers are actually cutting in this little area right here. This does create a burr. It creates a burr on the back sides. What I would recommend, if anyone was to do these, get it nice and sharp, and then go back through and by hand, just either take a file, or you could take the flap disc and just run it over one good time. I think that will get rid of the burr. So we'll go ahead and sharpen one of these. I'll kind of talk everyone through this. That way you guys can make an informed purchase. Now I'm not one of those people that's going to be like, buy this, here's my link, make me money on this. No, I don't really care, because here's the thing, this is cheap Chinese stuff. If it breaks in 3 months, I don't want to be that guy that's pushing this stuff. For me, I'm going to try it. I'm going to see how well it works. Just off the first blade, it seems like it does pretty good. One thing I did notice, there's a little bit of slop in this arm, so do keep that in mind. It's not going to be perfect. At the same time, guys, we're cutting grass. We're not machinists here. Anyways, when you get it, make sure you tighten these up, put your lag bolts in somewhere solid, and then I like to loosen these up. You want the blade to grab right under that collar. You don't want to grab them against the threads, just in case you get to change blades. Once you get it all set up, you can take and just tighten it up. You'll see it's kind of in the blades there. That collar, where it's that countersunk bolt, is grabbing this top edge of the blade. I'm not even really cranking it down, but it's pretty tight. With all blades, the angle that you have, the steeper the angle it is, technically the sharper of a cut it is, because anytime you're cutting something, you're just using a wedge, and you're wedging it between the substrate that you're cutting. Like axes, they have a steeper angle, whereas like a pocket knife, it's going to be like a 20 or a 25, which is going to be a much shallower angle. Like the Japanese blades, like the katanas and stuff, a lot of times you'll see those at like a 15-degree angle. So even with knives and stuff, it's really important to make sure angles are. But with lawnmower blades, since they're getting abused all the time, we want to make sure that we're putting it at a steep angle. So it's got a whole bunch of different angles. It's not easy to make sure that the angle's right. What I found is, as long as that arrow is kind of pointing in that direction, you can also find the little little bumps. Pretty much, if you're doing it right, you're only going to be touching this 30, at least for lawnmower blades. And some people with like bush hog blades, they might go to a steeper angle just to really help, because that adds extra material down towards the tip of the blade. And it's not going to be as sharp. It's going to take more horsepower to be able to overcome that cutting effect. If you're doing like brush and stuff like that, then throwing it at a steeper angle will help. I would say for 99% of the people out there running mowers, 30-degree angle is going to be right on the money. I'll show you. Do keep in mind, this flap disc is a cheap Harbor Freight one. He's pretty wore out. You put on a good flap disc, it's going to absolutely burn through this way quicker than what you guys are going to see with mine. We'll start it up, show you how this works. So, one thing I will say that I actually just discovered, again, I was telling you, it's got some slop to it, which I'm not the biggest fan of. But use this nut to set your depth out, because you can kind of see it's kind of wanting to grind that line just a little bit more than it does anything else. I think that's going to be pretty important too, is centering it really nicely. Yeah, you can see it's got some slops. Is this going to be the absolute best, the perfect? Actually, no, you can't tighten that. I was hoping maybe we tighten it up. I don't think we'll be able to. Let's try that again and see if we can get a more consistent angle grind. So you can see that was much more consistent. That was a much better grind. What I like to look for is I like to look for this burr. That goes with sharpening knives and stuff too. You want that nice consistent burr. When you have that consistent burr, it's sharp. Now, like I said, I highly recommend that if you're going to do this, hit the back of it also. So you can see we're actually using the rust as like a indicator. So you see how it's mostly wanting to focus on this edge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out and I'm going to run this nut back a little further. We're going to see if we can try to get a more full depth. I think once we get this adjustment, I think we'll be pretty good. One thing I will say is that if you hold it against the play and you keep that pressure against that play, it will stay pretty stable. You can kind of check it. We might actually take it a little further out. You can also take this guy right here and loosen it up and adjust that. So you don't just necessarily have to depend on the nut. I think using both of them is a good idea. Now this is also plastic, so do keep that in mind. Don't go cranking that down. Anyways, we will see if we can get a better angle grind on this. Yeah, immediately that's already so much better. And again, we're keeping a steady pressure against the play. So again, this isn't going to be the most technical or precise. It's going to keep it consistent. Consistent is better than precise in this application. So that's all we're going to do. We're going to get this down to where that angle is exactly the same all the way across that cutting edge. That's what we're going to do the entire way across it. We want that. We want those witness marks to be completely identical all the way down there. So you can see that is significantly better. And that's exactly where this needs to be adjusted for this blade and for this grinder. So again, your mileage will vary. You can see, we'll go ahead and step out into the light a little bit. Hopefully you guys will be able to see that a little better. So the edge is very consistent. The witness marks look perfect. They look really good. So who do I think this is for? Do I think this is for the like a mower, a mechanic, or maintenance, a technician, anything like that? No. I would highly recommend that you just go ahead and spend the extra 140, 160 bucks and just go ahead and get like a good all-American or get a bench grinder with the angle guide on it. What this I would say is probably the best for is a homeowner. If you have a house and you're only going to be sharpening the blades maybe once, maybe twice a year, I'd say it's perfect for that. Or guys just getting started in the lawn care and you have a push mower or you have a walk behind or you know, something that it's not going to be as high demand. You're not going to be trashing blades every couple days, needing them to be resharpened or anything like that. I think this is perfect for those guys just getting started or someone that's a homeowner. I would kind of put this into the maybe prosumer realistically. So we got two blades here that I've sharpened with it. This one blade, it was trashed. It was not very good. You can always tell too because the blade that gets trashed the most is the one that's on the discharge side. This one always gets absolutely wrecked, you know, and I mean, I brought it right back out. Now, another important thing to keep in mind, guys, is that when you are running and sharpening these mowers, or mower blades, sharpen them at an angle like this. You want to mostly be working this edge. And once you get out of this flat here, I would say once you back it up to about there, it's probably time to go ahead and start replacing them. They're cheap enough. If you're using them that much, you're making your money on them. I wouldn't be too worried about it. If you guys in the future want to see a comparison between really sharp blades like this and duller blades, let me know. I'd be happy to show you on a couple different machines the difference in the longevity of each individual angle. So, like I said, for the most part, main takeaways, I would say this is okay for the weekend warrior, the homeowner that has nice grass, want to keep it nice and prevent tearing on the ends of the blades. You know, someone that's just getting started off in a lawn mowing business. One of these it's not too bad. I mean, again, you got the slop. You're going to have to take your time. It's not going to be as simple and as easy and as straightforward as like a All-American is, or a dedicated bench grinder with the angle on it. I think for like high lift and mulch blades and stuff like that, where they got some tricky geometries, one of these actually isn't too bad. Now, again, I can't speak to the longevity of it. For all I know, once I get done with this video, it might be trash. It might completely stop working. Or the bearings or bushings or whatever they use in these pivot arms might be just done for. They might just develop so much slop that you can't really keep them straight and keep them consistent. If that's the case, I'll leave a comment on this video if it does break or something like that. I'll leave a comment and let you guys know this is trash. Don't buy it. But anyways, I'll show you the brand one more time, so that way you guys can see it if you guys are interested. Sporgain. It's Chinese if I never heard it. Design tools with unique insights, i.e. ripping off American companies. You know, as far as the ethics of this, I give it a D-. As far as the actual use of it and the budget, I say get it. When it breaks, you know that you're using it enough. Then you can go buy you an All-American. You can justify it at that point. So, anyways, guys, it's your choice. It's your life. I'm not telling you how to live it. You did click on this video for a reason, so I would check it out. It's pretty easy to use. Any numbnuts could use it. Take care, guys. I'll be putting some more videos out. So go ahead, like, do the subscribe thingies, all that, or follow if you're on Facebook. Do the things. That way I get more people on here. And eventually I just make videos and show you guys how to do stuff. You know, I don't have to work so hard. That's the goal. Guys, just do something down there.